feel very afraid, or maybe feel like, oh, prof, maybe being replaced by these robots or Sophia. I believe you know about this Sophia AI, autonomous robotics kind of things. Maybe, yeah. They mentioned the claim and models, sports umpires, huh? When you're playing tennis or badminton, paralegals, or telemarketing. Of course, telemarketing, chatbot is actually available. Imagine. But I managed to spoke to one professor from, I think, University of Tokyo. He mentioned to me, Safi-san, I don't think so. These robots, as you see or watch in the science fiction movie, will replace us. Actually, they are assisting us. Not really they are going to replace like you watch those Hollywood movies. That's why we have this IR4, not 5.0 in the Japan, because they would like to integrate the elements of human being as well. Not really that we're going to be controlled or be conquered our what we call it jobs by those robots or androids kind of that. Okay, next. Okay, impact. Imagine there are many things. In some countries, 7 to 45% automation. Probably there will be have displacement. AI as well, for example, in China, shows that there could be around 10 to 12 net increase in the jobs by 2037. So please get ready. And finally, if you see that, almost 60% could be role requiring interpersonal creating or strategic decision making, which is actually supporting the AI development, which could not account. Imagine these are the percentage of impact, the usage of AI in Asia. Just to share with you, job landscape mentioned by in World Economic Forums. Imagine 97 million growing jobs data from, as I mentioned just now, data analysts and scientists. Please, fresh student, try to get those certifications up to IoT specialist number 10. And maybe decreasing, they claim decreasing maybe in the advanced country, but in our developing countries, still we do have a data clerk, data entry clerks, a kind of that I mentioned 1 to 10. But please be ready to embrace the new technology of AI. You must be at the first 97 millions in that statistic, not in the 85 millions above there. Beyond, yeah. Okay. Now, by PwC and Guild, predictive net job creations. Imagine how AI will affect the job market. At the first list, you can see that health and social works, particularly in the medical, we are using the AI. No, maybe you gone the day that you do the operations or at this operation table using the so-called artificial corpse or whatever. They have all this AI. Imagine, and then professional, scientific, and technical, plus IT, information and communication, and education. Imagine, these are some of the jobs that really affected, not to me, the word not affected, but actually being complemented by this AI. Okay. You see that today, analytical thinkings and innovations trending in 2022. Again, you can see the comparison. Imagine. And finally, declining. What's the declining? Imagine manual dexterity, endurance, and precision. If you see at the trending level, again, in industry or academia, analytical thinking, we like to love to have problem solvers. How to solve the issues in the society, coordination. And then in the university, or maybe you have this learning and development, L&D in the organization, active learning and learning strategies, creativity, novel, originality and initiative, critical thinking, not to say maybe in Asian culture, yes boss, okay, no problem, yes, no, meaning to say you need to argue back in a positive way, how to solve the issues in the organization, in the company, or in the uni, or if you are entrepreneurs. Leadership and social influencers. You can see nowadays people can become rich as an Instagram, IG influencer. Yeah, how? the to do the good thing lah, not the negative or bad things. Again, emotional intelligence as well. Not only maybe 20, 25 years ago, the IQ. Nowadays, people go for EQ. It's a balance between human values and elements. And finally, system analysis and evolution. So these are the trendings that you need to grab, my dear audience. Again, just to give a glance about hybrid intelligence. At the end of the day, it's not 100% automation. We need to have human skill and creativity which integrate to a mastery of technology to deliver those complex programs. We try to look at unique and complex data challenges which require a deep understanding of the context and business. For example, machine learning, ML, and then few others. So those are scientists or researchers in the universities are actually working on this new area. I would say not really new within these few years. Yeah. Okay. Why? How? Try to combine, for example, digital twin, resilient digital twin between the human intelligence, people, and the experience that you can't replace by the robots or the machine, and the machine intelligence, which consists of the data and algorithm. Imagine how it's both can be in one machine or one system. We can have a resilient digital twin using hybrid intelligence. Okay. Okay. Maybe just to share with you a book by Niels Berg, 24 pages, very easy. Prepare for your future career while living with AI. Just to get from Kindle or from the Amazon lah. Okay. Why AI? These are again and again. Efficiency when using AI, increase the productivity, ROI, return on investment, efficiency of the usage, and finally, technology convergence. In any of your jobs, you will see AI will be sooner or later. You will have this AI be like the smartphone or our WhatsApp or social media. I don't think so, or even this e-wallet 5 years ago. Nowadays, I think most of you have your e-wallet, you have your so-called e-hailing, Grab food, whatsoever lah. Okay, imagine the revolutionary of technology assisted by this AI. You can't run away. You need to embrace, because sometimes I see some maybe at my level. Why? Technology is very fast. I could not learn. Can you assist me, Professor? Oh, I said, nowadays, how many of you actually watch television? I don't think so. I myself still watch. But remember that people are watching on on internet, on the mobile, for example. Okay. Okay. In the summary, this is the reality. Hybrid intelligence or the artificial intelligence is here. Please grab the opportunity, for example, for these 3 days skilling summit, learn from the expert. Oh, I like to have this AI or ML certification from Microsoft, or from the government of Philippines, or from these vendors, for example, because it will equip you to be more, sellable in the industry, not only in your country, yet abroad, because we are working or living in this globalized world. With that, I end my session and I pass back to Floribel. Okay, thanks a lot. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir. So that you have heard it from our keynote speaker for this morning, Dr. Nurhisam Safi. He is the Faculty Deputy Dean at the National University of Malaysia. And sir, to recognize the time and knowledge imparted to us this morning, allow me to present to you the certificate of recognition.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Dear sir, it is my honor in behalf of DICT, the ILCDB, CIBO, Microsoft, and Go Philippines. We hereby present to you the Certificate of Recognition, Dr. Nurhizam Safi, for sharing with us your knowledge and experience being our keynote speaker this morning with your topic on artificial intelligence and the future of jobs. awarded on the second Philippine Skilling Summit 2022 and signed by Miss Maria Lourdes Aquilisan of the ICT, Mr. Buddy Villasis of CIBO, Mr. Carl Yung of Go Philippines, and Mr. Dale Pascual Jose of Microsoft Philippines. So once again, Dr. Nurhizam Safi, thank you so much for sharing with us your time and your knowledge to equip our learners this morning. And by the way, sir, just to update you that we are also being live via YouTube and Facebook. And we, when you started your talk, sir, we have reached more than 1,000 participants live
Oh,
streaming here at our team's live and also via YouTube and Facebook. So thank you so much again, sir. You have equipped more than 1,000 learners this morning.
okay. Thank you very much, everyone. Bye bye and take care. Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you.
All right. Okay, bye.
So once again, that is Dr. Nurhizam Safi, the Faculty Deputy Dean of the National University of Malaysia. And to all our participants live streaming with us this morning, learning has just begun even before we started the link tracks with the learning sessions and the significant messages we have received and perceived this morning with first Ms. Joanna Rodriguez, the Public Sector Director of Microsoft Philippines, and of course with Dr. Nurhizam Safi, that Faculty Deputy Dean of the National University of Malaysia. So we are now about ready to move forward at the assigned learning tracks for each session. Please be advised that we have 3 education tracks where you can choose to attend, and each will be joined by our assigned moderator and technical team to help us. Also, you may refer to the published announcement being posted for the meeting links. We would also like to remind all our learners, all our participants, not to join as anonymous participant. Once again, do not join as anonymous participant because it may have or definitely you will be having issues on the certification after our summit. So once again, we are reminding all our participants to register at the event page using your legal name and by placing your active email address, because after the program or after this 3-day summit, we will be sending in your email address the feedback form for each education track that you have attended. So once again, you will only be able to receive the email once you are registered at the event page and you have attended in our education track this morning and in the afternoon, and also last Monday and Tuesday during the first 2 sessions. So I hope we are making our announcements very clear to all. So if you are not sure that you are properly registered, please do register now at the event page of Microsoft Go Philippines for the Philippine Skilling Summit 2022. Make sure to provide us your legal name and your active email address. Now, in case you are attending the main plenary and the education track that appears to be anonymous, it is just okay because you are attending as external guests. What is more important is that you were able to register at the event page and that you were able to receive the confirmation email from the ICT Go Philippines telling you that you have successfully registered at the event. So again, it is okay if you have the email confirmation and during the main plenary and the education track, you appear to be anonymous. It's okay because you are an external guest. What is important is that during the registration, you provided as your legal name and your active email address. All right. So with that, you once again, you may now refer to the published announcement for the topics you wish to attend, and also we will be sharing here the QR codes for the education track. What we have this morning is cybersecurity. We also have Office 365 and computer assisted education. So once again, we will be posting here or sharing here the QR codes for those education tracks, and we have also sent this or published it to the announcement section. It is important that you choose now what topic you wish to attend. And of course, we highly encourage all our participants to stay and actively engage in the meeting room that you have joined for you to fully maximize the learning session and, of course, learn from our expert speakers this morning. So, allow me now to share our slide for the QR code that you may choose to attend. So again, here now are the QR codes for the morning education tracks that we have. So again, we have a topic on security, governance, and monitoring. We have Office 365 and computer assisted education. So once again, all you have to do is to scan the QR code of the topic you wish to attend, and it will give you quick access to the meeting link. And once again, once you are able to come in inside the meeting room, we highly encourage you to stay and actively engage so that you can fully maximize the topic and learn from our expert speakers. You may also refer to the published announcement being sent for the topics you wish to attend should you have some challenges or some issues scanning the QR codes we are providing here. Okay, so we still have about 800 participants here at the main plenary. We are encouraging you to choose now from any of the topics. I'll be sharing this again in full screen so that you can join the learning discussion this morning.
Hello, hello. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to everybody here in the room. Welcome, welcome to today's track. This one is computer assisted education. So, welcome everybody to the computer assisted education track, AI Business School for Education. Good morning. All right. This is for, of course, the Philippine Skilling Summit 2022, powered by Microsoft, the Department of Information and Communications Technology, or DICT, Cebu's Information Technology and Business Process Management Organization, or CIBO, and powered by Go Philippines. In response to industry needs and the impact of globalization on education, the Future Tech Summit 2022 will create a platform to reform education, upsurge technical skilling trails, and better equip youth in the Philippines, Malaysia, and Sri Lanka for the future of world. The summit will serve as a forum for all stakeholders from academia, industry, and government to discuss and reevaluate their innovation goals and strategies to adapt the technologies today for tomorrow's success. My name is Tiffany. I am an e-learning content developer of GoPhilippines.org, and I will be your moderator for this session. With me is Erwin Ancheta there on the chat there, assisting me, helping me with your questions. Right, that's Erwin right there. So we will have an experience sharing and question and answer session after the topics are finished. Then we will be going back to the main meeting room at 12:45 after lunch for the afternoon events. So this topic will be from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. All right, some quick reminders. At the moment, there are three ongoing tracks. And if you're interested in joining the other tracks, you may go back to microsoftsummit.gophilippines.org and join from there. You can also go back to the main meeting hall where the QR codes are published, and then you can go from there too. If you're interested in getting a certificate for this event, make sure you register at the main events page. Again, microsoftsummit.gophilippines.org. Put in your details, including your email address and your legal name, the one that you want to appear on your certificate. So, this topic is computer assisted education track. What should we expect? Our speaker for today will be talking about three topics. The first one is computational thinking and its importance in education. So computational thinking is a way of thinking about problems similar to mathematical thinking or scientific thinking, but it's slightly different than those methods of thought. The problems being solved with computational thinking can leverage the power of technology like software. This module is designed for all educators from all subject areas who would like to know more about computational thinking and how it can be applied within cross curricular educational settings. The second topic is to define an AI strategy to create value in education. In education, decision makers must take into account specific industry considerations before they can realize the true transformational power of AI. Educational institutions and organizations need to think strategically about AI, and you need to start today. To create real value, a comprehensive understanding of all strategic components is required. All right, and the third one is to lead forward, integrate the best strategies from remote, hybrid, and blended learning for school leaders. Blended learning environments offer students the best of all worlds of learning. Blended learning incorporates direct instruction in a face to face setting, indirect online instruction, collaborative teaching, and individualized computer assisted learning to ensure students grow along with their own learning paths. This module is designed to help school leaders assess, implement, navigate, and sustain a blended learning environment in their schools in a quest to improve every student's learning outcomes and ensure high student agency. Our speaker for this topic is Miss Imelda Reyes, or Miss Imel Reyes. Miss Reyes, can we turn on our camera for everybody, please? If you have camera available. All right. So Miss Imelda, let me just introduce her real quick, is a senior trainer and certification lead at Line Learning and Development Solutions track, Computer Assisted Education D3. She's a former college professor with a degree of Master of Arts in Education, major in Computer Assisted Education. She was adept at national external trainer on Office 365 from 2017 till now, a speaker at the EdTech Singapore in 2017 and EdTech Philippines in 2018 and 2019. Her international affiliations include Computer Science Teachers Association and the Women Who Code, or WWC. Currently the senior trainer of Line Learning and Development Solutions. Let us welcome Miss Imelda DC Reyes. Again, if you have any questions about the topic, please write them down. Hold on to them. We will have enough time for question and answer later. There you go. Miss Reyes, go ahead.
Thank you so much, and good morning, everyone. Before we begin, I would like to thank the DICT, the CIBO, and Microsoft, of course, and the rest of the organizing team, the Go Philippines, for the invitation to talk about AI Business School for Education under the Computer Assisted Education umbrella. And to all the participants, thank you for choosing this track. So, the term computer assisted is not so new to us, especially to the teachers of my generation. We have learned the term CAI, or the computer assisted education, way back 1990s. It is an interactive instructional technique where a computer is used to present the instructional material and also to monitor the learning that takes place. These are more of developing courseware and a management system. And yeah, the generation today, they call them LMS. So the learning management system. But as computer evolve, and of course, education is also evolving. The way that CAI or CAL is also modernized. The form of learning that falls within the educational technology industry. is also being impacted by different learning ways, which are, I can say that foreign. These are foreign to us like decade ago. Why? This is because education experts would like to enhance the teaching and learning experience, of course, of our pupils and our students. And you know, here in the Philippines, we are so lucky because the Department of Education partnered with Microsoft to capacitate and help the students build a future ready skills using Microsoft 365. So, and today, as we experience the effect of the pandemic, not only in education, but also in employment, business, etc., no, we witness how education leaders, how our teachers put all their efforts to deliver the education, may it be in modular approach or in the remote learning environment. You know, in CBC News, they shared videos of students sharing the impact of pandemic schooling. So indeed, school closures had a negative effect on children's mental and physical health. But of course, we're not here to talk about the effect of the pandemic in our education system. But because of this, we may say that, or we may ask, how the pandemic has revealed the true value of education. Number one, online education worked as a temporary solution to respond to a crisis, but it must be further developed to deliver the higher quality education seamlessly, effortlessly, and equitably uh, important as possible. So number two, we know now that, and I'm sure that my uh, my co-teachers or colleagues out there would agree with me when I say nothing replaces the value of in-person, in-school education, which goes beyond the books uh, to the teaching in person, no? Professional, and of course, the social knowledge experiences na na-encounter natin mga students. And also, opportunities enabled by being immersed in school life. Ito kasi yung mga nawala. Well, I know that there are some attendees here who are not in the Philippines, so I'll try to speak in English. So these are some of the instances that the teachers and the students are missing out. No? But in number three, in any education curriculum, we know that an optimally balanced hybrid of in-person, number one, and online education should be a priority. Priority for educational departments and institutions to allow for smoother transition between these models. Kasi nowadays we are already hearing, we are reading memos from the Department of Education that in the next school year, we're going to face. And actually, there are already some schools that are teaching in the schools already. So may I see a like reaction there if there are teachers or students here that are already in the school. Okay, so let us see. Okay, so we can see that there are already teachers or schools having their session in person. And last, number four, a strong hybrid model of personnel and remote learning will allow education to pivot quickly in the event of disruptions, the COVID magnitude. So unfortunately, this pandemic is unlikely unique and something similar can or maybe experience again. So at least since we already experienced this, we know already what to do. Okay, and by the way, the true value of education I mentioned here came from the article of James Cruz from the Forbes magazine. All right, so as mentioned by our moderator a while ago, our topic will be divided into three, but each topic require like 2 to 3 hours. So I'm going to like get what is important, and let us just focus on some of the skills or techniques that the teachers and students can use in their teaching and learning process. So decision makers in education have considerations that are very particular to the sector to help them realize the true transformational impact of AI in education. So AI means artificial intelligence. So yeah, it is critical to understand the components of a strategy that will help the education sector create the value with AI. So therefore, this session is designed for education decision makers, okay, so school leaders, to illustrate the true transformational impact of AI in education. So at the end of the presentation, I'll be giving you the resources of my presentation as well as some of the files we'll be needing for demo. So if there are students out there, also let's heart emotions nga for all students who are attending these sessions. I'll prepare some activities that you can try using Excel, using your browser, and if time will allow me, I'll be demonstrating some techniques in PowerPoint and in Microsoft Word as well in Microsoft Teams. All right. Hello, Sir Aryan. Okay, so I'm looking at the chat box. So anytime you have a question out there, and if it will be discussed in my next slides, so I'll just park it there. And hello to all my co-MEA, Microsoft Education Ambassadors, and Microsoft Innovative Educator experts who are listening right now. All right. Okay, so first, let's discuss computational thinking and its importance in education. So some like the terms are for computer science or those majoring in mathematics, but let us try to explain this in a manner that everybody can understand. So why is it that we need to apply computational thinking in education, and what will be the benefits of using this? So the learning objectives specifically is to describe the computational thinking, what it is and what it is not. It is not related. We're going to discuss this as not so related to computer science. And number two, the components of computational thinking. And number three, let us try to explain how computational thinking is applied in various educational settings. Okay, so first, what is computational thinking? It's not a math term, it's not a computer science term. So let's try to define it in a most simple term. Computational thinking is the process, a way of thinking about formulating a problem, which is similar to mathematical thinking or scientific thinking. But it is slightly different than those methods I mentioned. The problems being solved with computational thinking can actually leverage the power of technology, especially in the forms or in the field of education. Like there are many programmers there or developers, system analysts who are connected or partnered with the school, developing software as to express how computers can help our learners, of course, the teachers, so that they can comprehend and then they can execute correctly this application. So what are the components of computational thinking? So let's have a review or a recap of this, especially for the students who are tuned in, the computer science students. I know you're very familiar with this. There are 4 components of computational thinking that we can apply in the field of education. Number 1 is decomposition, where we just take ideas and then we separate the problem. We treat each ideas and problem apart so that we can solve them one by one. So that's breaking big problems into smaller, easier to manage problems. Okay, number 2, the pattern recognition. Okay, so this is where we analyze and we look for repeating sequence. So later, I'll be giving you like some slides and you try to answer very quick lang. And these are, tawag natin dito sometimes is IQ tests. Okay, so these are more on recognizing the patterns. What would be the next, like that. Okay, and then number 3, we have the abstraction. This is more on removing the parts of a problem that are unnecessary and then make one solution that will work for multiple problems. So the focus here is on what is important. Okay. And then number 4 is the algorithmic design or the algorithmic thinking. This is step-by-step instruction on how to do something. So this is where our educators will make a guidelines, step-by-step instruction that all levels of students can follow. Okay, so later we'll have some examples on how are we going to apply computational thinking, and I'll be giving you a site where you can download materials. Okay, so since I cannot cover everything. All right, so let's talk about decomposition. So um, when we say decomposition, as I mentioned earlier, so this is something like you break down the large piece into smaller one. So break it down, parang ganyan. Sounds like a dance, no. But this refers to the smaller pieces that make up a larger problem. So for example, okay, so using our chat box, can you identify what should be the first step in the following scenario or steps when preparing your breakfast and you would like to have your strawberry jam in your bread? So can you identify the numbers? For example, extract, use the spoon to extract jam from jar. So it should be what number in the step. And then we have there lay one slice of bread in a cutting board. So what number should be that in the step? And then number 3 or the third one, we have use the spoon to spread jam onto the bread. And then the fourth item there is open the jam jar. Okay, so which item should be the first? So the answer should be like 2, 1, 4, 3, or where second or the lay should be the second item or the first one, like that. Okay, so I can see answers here from Ken. Okay, so the answer is 3, 2, 4, 1. I can also see here 3, 1, 4, 2. Okay, and 3, 1, 4, 2. So two of them said that the lay one slice. Okay, so let's keep your answers on the chat box and let us see what would be the series of numbers that should be applied when you want to prepare for your breakfast. Okay, so thank you so much for your participation. Let's reveal our answers. But this sounds easy, no? But from a larger viewpoint, this problem could actually start with strawberry picking. Okay, so you can see the answers here. No? Some people are supposedly getting the strawberry from the field. Okay, so I'm sorry, but I missed to change the number there. So yeah, the answer should be 3. Okay, so let me go back. Sorry, I did forgot to change the number there. So the correct answer should be, let me just display it again. Okay, I'm trying to get the numbers and then I forgot to change it. Okay, so it should be the, okay, so it should be lay, so it should be 2. Yeah, so it should be 2. Okay, 2. Then 4, open. And then use the to extract. Okay, so that's 1 and then 3. Okay, so yeah, so there are correct answers there. Should be 2, 4, 1, 3. So sorry, I forgot to change the number there. But yeah, you can say that it looks easy, but there are actually people who are doing the process of picking the strawberry and doing the lengthy detailed process of jam making. So breakfast is relatively easy to understand. Why? Because breaking down these steps, we know it already. We know the result will look like. There are not a lot of unknowns like there could be in other problems. But knowing this, no, this is where decomposition becomes useful in helping to determine without or where any unknowns process or identifying the key smaller components that lead to the next part of the problem. So we can start the process of introducing like what are the things you do when you wake up in the morning, or for like adult learners, if they know how to drive, maybe we can ask them what should be the process if you try to change the tire. So things like that will lead us to train their mind critically thinking what should be the process and how are you going to break down a certain problem. I remember in mathematics there's this teacher who asked, how are you going to get the sum of the numbers from 1 to 100? Okay, so it's like huh, it's a big problem, it's a big numbers. Like what I'm going to do is to add 1 plus 1 is 2 2 1 plus 2 is 3 plus 3 is 6 plus 4 and so on and so forth. So what this teacher um, tell to the students is to get the pattern, then get the solution to that pattern. And that will lead me to the next discussion, which is, okay, the pattern recognition. Okay, so let's go back to the problem of adding the numbers 1 to 200. So in pattern recognition, noticing similarities and differences within patterns is an important component of computational thinking. Now, being able to see that one element is a part of a bigger pattern helps students to be able to predict with more accuracy what will likely happen next. Okay, so they're already answering in the pictures, no, what will be the next uh, the shape. Okay, so I will not ask you to answer it, but I think the answer is yes, letter B, and thank you. But when we say pattern recognitions, we tend to look at the scenarios, we tend to look at the situations, and then we process in minds what will be the next item, what would be the next number, or what would be the next value. So you know, in Microsoft Excel, we have this kind of um, feature that of course, teachers should first teach the students how to process. But using AI, this kind of processing, this kind of critical thinking can be um, can be predicted in Microsoft Excel. So later I'll show you. Now, uh, going back to 1 to 100, so the teacher asked the students, so what did you notice when you write the numbers 1 to 200? Okay, so like 1 plus 1 is equal to 2, then 2 plus 3 is equal to 5, and so on and so forth. So what they notice is when they connect the number 1, or when they write the number 201 and they write the number 1 plus 200. Okay, so I, I hope I'm making sense here. When they write the number 1 and when they write the number 200, they can see that 1 plus 200 is equal to 201. And when they write uh, 2 plus 200, it means they will get 202. And there are how many numbers before they take to 200 items? So that will be 100 and then another 100 before you go to 200. So, but they only like to get the sum of the numbers 1 to 200. Okay, so what the things or what is the technique the teachers taught to the students? She said, just multiply 100 by 200. Okay. So it means to say that the pattern there is that when you add 1 to 200, you can get 201. So it means to say you just have to get or multiply 100 by 200 and you're going to get the sum of or the series of the numbers accumulated from 1 to 200. Okay, and I'll try to do that, but in Excel. And yeah, the result is correct. Okay, so I don't know if I make sense with that, no? So let's have an example about pattern recognition since you are answering letters there. So what number comes next in this pattern? So we have like 0, 1, 3, 6, 10, 15, and then blank. So what would be the next or number? What would be the number? And maybe you are wondering what is the pattern between 0 and 1, between 1 and 3, 6 and 10, and 15, and then blank. Okay, and I can see answers here 21. Any other answers like 20, 19? Okay, so very quick, no? Very quick si April, of course. Okay, so yes, the answer is 21. Why? What is the sequence? Okay, so the sequence here, so ako na yung sasagot. The sequence here is each number, you add number 1. And then the next number, you add number 2. The next number, you add number 3. And whenever you add those number, that will be the next number in the series. So therefore, if there are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you need to get or you need to add 6 to the number 15 and then yes, you will get 21. Okay, so the next slide I will not be explaining, but I hope that whenever there's a chat they're asking, hey, why is it why that is the next number? Can anyone explain that in chat? I'll be thankful. Okay, so the next series, what number comes next in this pattern? So the numbers seem so small, but these are series of zeros and one. In computer, we call this as binary numbers. Bi, which came from the Latin word, binary came from the Latin word bi, which means two. And there are only two series of numbers. These are zeros and one. Okay. So is it one? Is it zero? Is it 1, 1? Or is it 1, 0? So first is our only one number. So definitely it's not 11 or it's not 1, 1 and it's not 1, 0. It's either 1 or 0. And the correct answer is, I'm sorry for those who answered 1, the correct answer is 0 because the difference or the, yeah, I said I will not explain, no, but yeah, the difference or the numbers in between 1 is increasing numbers of 0, like there's 1 0 here, 2 zeros, 3 zeros. So therefore, there will be 4 zeros in there. Okay, so you are now recognizing the pattern. So let's look at the third one. Okay, let's go to words. If flower can be written as 4, 4, how can canon be written? Okay, so is it, okay, so there are still attendees answering to question number 2. So what is the pattern then? How did I get 4, 4, 4 out of flower? Okay, so maybe I get the first letter, then what? The third, and so forth. Okay, so there are answers like con, the cow, and then the CNN and the CNN. So yes, the 4, 4 is you get the pattern and then you just rewrite it again. So parang yun ang pattern doon, no? You get what is being patterned and then you just rewrite it again. So therefore, if you get cow, you just write cow. But the correct answer here is CNN, because you get the first, the third, and okay, so 1, 3, and then 6. So merong increasing difference, and I can see that there's Mr. Victoria who is like cheering because he got the correct answer. Okay, so let's proceed to the next pattern. There are only 5, by the way. Okay. Yeah, that's correct. First, third, and sixth, or definitely it's the last. Okay, so next is, all right, so let me just disable my Wi-Fi here. It seems like my internet is getting me. Okay, so yeah, I don't know if my next slide is on the screen already. Let me just disable my Wi-Fi on my phone. Okay, and may I request everyone in my here in my paki-off muna yung mga Wi-Fi nyo. All right. So let me turn off my camera no muna. Okay. Yeah, not yet. It's still loading also on my end. But am I speaking okay. It's there now. So number 4. If flower, mahilig tayo sa flower. If flower can be written as 21, 27, 30, 38, 20, and 33. So there are like how many group of numbers? There are 6, which correspond to the numbers of the word flower. How can the yarn be written as? Okay? So medyo napaisip tayo dito, no? So actually, I would like to put it in Kahoot. Kaya lang, baka kulang yung 1 minute for this number. Okay, so Brian answered first. All right? Or written or tinype niya yung 40, 16, 30, 29. Okay, so how did we get that? Um, how did we get that? Okay, so yes, we took the number letter of F from the alphabet, and that is like 6. And then how it became 21. So I try adding 15. So 15 plus 6 is 21. And if that will work with number 27, which is L, and L is, I think, is 12. Again, plus 15 is 27. Then the rest of the pattern is correct. So yes, the answer is the first one. It's 40, 16, 32, 29. So you get the index value, the index number of the letter out in the alphabet starting with 1, and then you add 15 to each number. Okay, so, and this is the last one. So the last one is, okay. So sa isa lang daw siya nag-base. Sa 33 kasi it's letter R. Okay, so number 5. What colors comes next in this pattern? Red, orange, yellow, green. Is it indigo? Is it blue? Or is it violet? Okay, so you know there are like 12 exercises I can play here, but for the interest of time, and if you would like to get more pattern exercises, just send me an email. I'll send it back to you. Okay, so yes, Janine, you're correct. This is from the pattern Roy G. Bibb. No? So Roy G. Bibb, this is how we taught our kung paano tayo tinuruan when we are younger to memorize the colors in the rainbow. And yes, the next is B, which stands for blue. So sometimes we converted the B and the V, no, but that's right. So the answer is blue. Okay? So ilan ang nakakuha ng 5 answers? Who get 5 correct answers? Okay, can you raise your hand or can you just clap for yourselves at top of your back? Hey, you are great in taking or looking for a pattern. Okay, so many got 5 correct answers. Okay, so thank you for your participation. All right, so if you would like to get more about this, so if we can just spend the rest of the hours and minutes talking about pattern, yeah, we can do that. Okay, so Janine got 4 lang. Well, it's good, no? At least above the average ka pa rin. Okay, so let's talk about pattern recognition application. So let me try to open my camera again. Okay, so with that practice, no, yung mga practices that we answered a while ago, these patterns can be visible to preschoolers, preschoolers, no, as they can see alternating colors no, in a striped shirt. So we can like for teachers who are handling early education, so for us to be able to practice the recognition, pattern recognition, we can choose colors, no. You know, in application, in real life application, many medical discoveries happened by recognizing the patterns that occurred in the X-ray or results of the laboratories out of their patients. And what else? The historians see patterns within civilizations and also revolutions. And of course, no, hindi pa huhuli ang ating mga economists. So the economists are great at finding patterns within financial and cultural changes in the society. So, when we apply the pattern recognition in the applications of learning, they can apply it in the uh, work related, no, when they work in the future, in the work environment. Okay, so let's talk about abstraction. So abstraction is the ability to generalize a pattern and prioritize what is pertinent and what is not in relation to the problem. So it is something that happens frequently with trial and error experiments. Now, for example, in a physical class, o kaya if you are in the department store, you are trying to find the right pair of shoes. O kaya, wag naman siguro sa dating, okay, but maybe we can try. And you can try. No, I cannot try it anymore because I'm already married and with three equally talented and beautiful kids. So identifying what doesn't fit is sometimes crucial. So to determine where, okay, where, when, and why. Okay, so when we focus on the subject which is important, which is relevant, we should know, or we should take considering the where, the answer to where, when, and why. Okay, so seeing a problem and solution at many levels of detail. So what I put here is an example of an activity by a certain school called scavenger hunt. So I will not discuss this um, in detail. I will just give you a PDF copy of this one. Remind me to to give the link later. Okay, so this is where we do our process in abstraction. Okay, so you just focus on what is important, and when you, like, for example, in a story, no, in a story for an English subject, um the teacher is trying to get what is the character attitude, or what is the attributes of the characters. You will not focus on maybe on the things happen to the character, but only on the characteristics of the character. So that is an example of abstraction. Then the last one is algorithmic thinking, and this is the practice of creating a step-by-step set of instructions or maybe guidelines, or we can also say rules to solve a specific problem. Now, many of us identify the word algorithm strictly with mathematics, but however, we can use algorithms every day when we utilize something like a recipe of baking cookies. No, we follow an algorithm, or we follow the recipe, hoping that the cookies come out of the oven and taste yummy. Now, when the students utilize algorithmic thinking and their computational thinking process, they are not just following someone else's recipe or procedures, but instead they are actually breaking down the steps, and also they are trying to create their own recipe. So that is algorithmic thinking, a scenario of algorithmic thinking. Okay, so I have here Miss Janet M. Wing. She is currently the executive vice president for research at Columbia University. No? In this role, she has overall responsibility for the university's research, uh, including the other campuses in the Columbia University, like Morningside and Mattonville. No, and she joined Columbia in 2017 as the director of the Data Science Institute and professor of computer science. But before that, why I am including this in my slide, Jeanette M. Wing was pleasantly surprised, no, because her writing, her writing about computational thinking which was published in the year 2006, give importance in the computational thinking about computer science. Okay, but according to her, it is not only for computer science or for math subjects. More than a decade in her article, you can read the article in this link, or you can use your QR code to open the site. She is excited to see that the amazing progress made in the K to 12 education field was based from the computational thinking research or article she created in the year 2006. Okay, so I will not deal with it. No, I will not open the PDF, but more likely these are the reasons why AI or why computational thinking is effective or can be utilized in our teaching process. Okay, so I'll give you time later to open that site, or maybe you can open it now and just open and read it after our sessions. Okay. So now, since I think we have covered the first agenda, it is time for us to reflect on the current educational practices. So for all the teachers out there, what areas of your current educational setting might lend, no, themselves to computational thinking? Okay. So um, looking through to your year or current units of study, do you have any lessons or projects that already contain the components of computational thinking? Do you have any lessons, no, na related that you can form into abstraction or decomposition, pattern recognition, or algorithmic thinking? Are there vocabulary words you might be able to introduce to your students to help them identify computational thinking? Okay, so Salmal, okay, she mentioned about grading and research. Okay, so this could be some technology or words that they can include in their teaching process. Or maybe since you mentioned research, did you know that we can help our students, or also those students, adult students who are enrolled in the masteral or in the doctoral degree, to use the function of the Microsoft to to extract, no, to extract the bibliography or the location of the specific article in the website following the APA format by just using the researcher function in Microsoft. Okay, so let me just add that to my demo later so that I can teach you how to do that. Extracting the bibliography of the sites you pull in from a certain website. Okay, so Rikame said making programs. So I can make, so she said she can make, she can include, computational thinking aspect when making programs. So maybe program or coding. I don't know if it is all about computer programming. All right. So survey. Okay. So Alfred Melvin mentioned about surveys. They can, yeah. Since we already have the Microsoft Forms, we can create surveys, or if you are using other forms of or other form, no, other tool. No. Okay, so thank you for your answers. As much as we want to wait for your other answers here, let's just type in there so that everybody can read it. Let's proceed to the next topic. But before that, I think, yeah, it's time for our coffee break. So ilan po dito ang mahiling mag-coffee? Okay, so I myself prepare a copy here. Okay, so let's have a coffee break while some of you can participate in Kahoot. Okay, so yeah, okay, so that we can have a time for us to get our coffee. But for those who would like to participate in our Kahoot, okay, so let me just share my screen here. Although I'm sharing my screen already. Okay. So you open a browser or you open your Kahoot application in your mobile and then type this game pin as I'm loading it. And I'm going to share my other screen. Okay, give me a sec. So the pin number is 400. Let me just type that first so that you can join already. That's 400 07 10. 400 400. You know, this is the thing when you are the speaker and you'll be the one to project your Kahoot. I wasn't able to give it ahead of time. So that's 400 07 10. Okay, so let me share my screen again. Am I still here? Okay, so there are already 6 participants. So let me turn off my camera again to maximize my bandwidth.
Miss Imal, what's the number again, please?
Yeah, that's
Let's write it down.
400 710.
710 400 710.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm trying to project my screen. Okay. I couldn't display the content. Let me try it again. Control Shift O. Okay, so as we are waiting, there are already 13 participants. Okay, let me first stop my exit spotlight. There are already 26. We'll keep coming in. All right. There are already 38, 39. Okay, there are already 43. Okay. Are you seeing my screen now?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. We can see
All
your
right.
screen. Yes.
Okay. So let's wait for it like 2 minutes more. So we'll start at 10:53. Okay, I wasn't able to share my I think my audio. So you're not hearing the background.
Yeah, no audio, ma'am.
Okay, it's all right. All right, so it's 1 minute more. So what would be the question here? Is it pattern recognition? No. We have already done that. So it could be terminologies about what we have discussed, the computational thinking, so that we can be reminded of the terms and how are we going to apply this in our um, teaching materials. Okay, so right.
All right. While we're waiting, Miss Emel, do you mind if I have a few announcements to make?
Sure.
All right. So before we start with this wonderful interactive game. I love it. Let me just inform you that Go Philippines also offers the Microsoft Office Suite classes for beginners, intermediate, and advanced learners. This program will empower you to unlock your creativity, increase your productivity, and increase your chances in landing your dream job or maybe even get a promotion. We have classes for Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint for everybody. If you don't know how to use any of those, join the beginner classes. If you think you know just a little bit and you want to improve, join the intermediate classes. And if you want to unleash your full potential, why don't you join our advanced classes? So, our MOS program is being taught by our master trainer, who is also our Microsoft certified trainer. So, you can visit our Microsoft program page. I will be putting on the link later on. If you're interested, you can just go ahead and message us. All right. Okay, thanks, Miss Emel. Go ahead.
All right, so let's start now. So, computational thinking, question number one. The four main components of computational thinking are red, decomposition, computation, algorithm, method. Blue, pattern recognition, decomposition, procedure agility. Yellow, abstraction, pattern recognition, decomposition, algorithm design. And green, algorithmic design, pattern recognition, decomposition, and procedure. Okay, so we got 13 who got the correct answer. Next, the podium. Hello, Miss Jing. Let's go to the next question number two. The practice of creating a detailed set of instructions or rules to solve a problem is an example of red abstraction, blue algorithmic thinking, yellow pattern recognition, and for the green, we have decomposition. So we only have like 10 seconds to answer the questions. Many are raising their hands. Miss Emel, I'm not yet done with reading the problem. Okay, so we have algorithmic thinking. Okay, so this is where we get our pattern or the process. Number three. Okay, so Chita is now on the second. Miss Ching, you're being uh, challenged. Okay, number three, breaking down problems or processes into smaller pieces is a component of computational thinking called blank. Breaking down. So breaking down. Okay, so the correct answer is decomposition. Yellow. And all right, so Chita is there already. Okay, and we have promising Renee on the second place. Okay, number four. Being able to discern similarities and differences within pattern is called what's the similarities and what's the differences so that we can make a blank. Okay, so the correct answer is pattern recognition. So you have a clue already. Okay, and there are 49 correct answers. And this will be the last question. And let us see, Chite remain on top, and Ching is now challenging you, Chit. Okay, the last question. Computational thinking is can be embedded and taught in language arts, math, story, and economics. Should not be taught in math. Yellow should only be taught in history. Should be for computer science students only. Okay? And I think because the number of seconds to answer is extended to 20, there are 70 who answered yes. It can be embedded and taught in language arts, in mathematics, in history, and in economics or in other subjects. Okay, so let's see who's in the podium. The third place, Jing. Okay, so sino yung nag-go and top? We have Saint and the podium is, okay, let's give Chet Tosa, a round of applause. Runners up, we have Mitch and MVG. So thank you for your participation. Okay, so palakpakan natin ang ating mga sarili kung nakakuha tayo ng 5 answers correct. Although mas maraming mabibilis, if they are using 2 devices at the same time, mas mabilis silang makakasagot. Correct? Okay, so thank you so much. Now, let's go back to our presentation. Let me share again my presentation in Teams. So thank you so much. Okay, so okay pa rin yung pang 8. Okay. Who among you are playing the games in the office or in the school na make mga kasama? Okay. Ayan. Okay, madami. Sige. I hope di naman kayo nag-contest. Okay, so let me just jump. Okay, so let me just jump to the slides, so the next topic. Multitasking po. Okay. Okay, so let me just wait. Okay, so I think I need to uh, move forward to slide number 3, 30 or 29, I think. Okay, all right. So this is my last slide before we have a break. Okay, again, congratulations to Chet. And also sa mga placers natin, second, third, fourth, and fifth. And thank you so much for your participation. Okay. So our next agenda is defining an AI strategy to create values in education. So, in education, the decision makers must take into account specific industry considerations before they can realize the true transformational power of AI. Now, in education institution and also organizations, they need to think strategically about AI, and I think they need to start today. So to create the real value, a comprehensive understanding of all the strategy components is actually required. So yeah, I can see your chat there. All right. Okay. So they have e-games competition every year, including Mobile Legends and Dota. Wow! So I remember in my previous school we have that games about Dota, but they changed the name. It's like Defense of the Association. No? Defense of the Association, where association means the team, no? The team of each course. No? So I remember that. And yeah, because of that, because of all students who are very active in Mobile Legends, they should have no excuse when it comes to submitting their activities, that they should not give the excuse of we have no internet, ma'am. Okay, so since they are playing the different games and their mobile data. Okay, so poor connection. Ayan. So yes, pagka medyo mababa ang connection natin, may delay ang questions pagdating natin sa screen. Sasagot ka pa lang tapos na yung time. Okay, so let's proceed. So these are the learning objectives. We're going to have describe the outcomes of the educational institutions. So they are, I have provided at least two educational institutions in other countries, how they achieve the adoption of AI, and then what should be the components of AI to put that in strategical education framework, and of course the value of it. Okay, so I have here the video. I don't know if I was able to share my sound. Can you give me a like reaction if you can hear the audio? Okay. Okay. So if you were not able to watch the video with audio, I have put the link in the chat box where you can get this video. No? Okay. All right. So thank you. All right. Also, Miss Kay Salanga put some link about computational thinking. Okay. Thank you so much. All right. So according to the school, what they did is they just created a media, a form, a video, and at the same time, this kind of um, what you call this, a picture with terminologies about how they can decompose or how decomposition can matter in their everyday teaching, no? So we have here breaking something down into smaller parts, like the terms break down a word. We also have how does your post got to you, how pack a bag for your summer holiday, and we can see here also some activities for pattern recognition, what a platform computer games have in common, okay, or sorting and classifying activities. So these are all from the school Greater Victoria School District number 61. Okay, so I'm just sharing you the slides from their sites. And we have here also abstraction and algorithmic design. Okay, so if you would like to get more about this, you can visit the site I pasted here in our chat box. So also the computational thinking, the ways they can help the schools and the teachers are all in the school programs from the Wolfram research. So we have here some challenges link. How about summer schools? Okay, so I can also copy the link and paste this in our chat box so you can later on read more about it. And there are also like language certifications, mentoring programs, and internships. So, but these are some premiums. There are some premiums copy, but there are also pre. For example, materials that you can use approaching December or Christmas. There are activities that you can use in that site. Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, AI can never replace the teachers, but it can empower them to deliver better experience for your students. How the AI can automate routine tasks for educators, enabling them to spend more time engaging with the students. For example, in the use of Microsoft Teams. So instead of asking the students, have you submitted your assignment? Instead of um, finding who were not able to attend the class last week. O kaya finding who are students who stay at night. You can just go to Insights, no? In the Microsoft Teams, you go to Insights tab, and there you can see who are the students who are staying at night, who are looking at your class notebook, reading the materials, who are those students who frequently submit late, no? O kaya hindi pa nakakapag-submit. So instead of asking them, instead of using the times, the minute in the beginning of your classes, you can just open it later or before the class and then concentrate on giving the objectives, on giving the topics to be discussed instead of doing that. And by the way, when we do that, um, we are somehow calling the attention of the students, and of course they feel like guilty. They know that you are referring to them, so might as well just check the insights, so instead of asking them. So we can use the AI feature of the Microsoft Teams to generate an insights about what's happening inside our class. What is the average score of my students? I gave them like 3 quizzes. What is the average score? Are they learning? Are they evaluating or giving what the assessment you are giving to them? They are answering it correctly. What's the percentage? Okay. And also in the insights, you can see who are active, no, active students who are inactive. Say, for example, they miss the class, they are not opening your class notebook, they are not opening your assignments, no. And how many among here are using Microsoft Teams and the assignments inside Microsoft Teams? In there, we can verify who students already viewed. Okay, they are making heart reaction. So who are students who view the assignments already, o kaya they already turn in their work. So there will be no excuse like, I'm sorry, ma'am, I forgot I did not submit the assignment because I wasn't able to see it. But when you open your assignment tab, you see there that the students already viewed. No? No, hindi nila tayo maloloko. Okay, hi guys, hi students. You cannot tell us that you cannot answer because you was not able to view the assignment. We can actually see it. Okay. So next is what are the AI tools help students to take control their own learning process, answer and solve challenging questions, and leverage technology to solve complex problems. Are there any AI tools that we can help our students to do this? Yes. With the Microsoft supporting learning tools, there are many when it comes to reading, when it comes to writing, communication, and even in the what did I miss? That is reading, writing, math, and communication. There are many tools that we can apply, especially to our pupils who are coming from different backgrounds. Like if they are students who find it hard to read or to differentiate the colors, they can see there are many tools that we can use. Later, I'll do some demo about it. And this kind of learning prepares the students for the future success by laying a foundation for complex and creative problem solving. Okay. So later I will demo how to use Math Solver in Edge. Okay, for those who weren't able to watch it in the previous session, and also I'll be opening an Excel to teach you how to create a linear pattern, a linear pattern when you would like to create what would be the scenario value for this series of numbers, and also yeah, to project some values. For example, you have these values. What would be the value in the next year when I add 3% into it without putting the the formula in one cell? Okay, so how can we apply the value when creating our learning or our teaching materials to our students? So what would be the framework? No? Okay, so instead of discussing that in details, I I attach here a